Alrighty, we are live. We are live. If you guys can hear me, type a one inside the chat. If you guys can hear me, I just want to make sure that everything's running smoothly because I'm currently on Zoom. Trying out a different way to uh, do these live sessions with a collab. So, definitely, of course, to send it out. So, if you guys can see everything like clearly, if it's not really, bugging out on the session, or if it's giving guys bad quality, let me know inside the chats. But definitely would like to thank you guys for hopping on tonight's call. You could be doing absolutely anything else, but you decided to be on tonight's call, on tonight's live crypto overview with myself and Fernando. But let's go ahead and dive straight into the chart real quick and give you guys more biases on what's happening with like the news, more sort of like chart work, and also like some more altcoins that I haven't really touched on about. So let's go ahead and dive straight into the news. So this is kind of where the actual platform I use, the website, is called Decrypt. There's actually one of the platforms I use to look at news. There is another one, but this is something that's this website actually sticks out to me the most, just because of like how current, up to date. It's not really too oversaturated with like information, not a whole lot of stuff is like just popping right at you, but it's really just more simple, straightforward. That's kind of how I like it. That's kind of how it should be. So let's see what's happening today. I did see that the CME Group launched Cardano, Chainlink, and Stellar future contracts. So what does that mean for the actual crypto markets? It just brings more exposure into the charts. It brings more exposure into crypto. Yeah. So it's basically just more exposure to the whole crypto market. Yes, that'd be more money that's flowing in. So that's like a good green flag when it comes to these kind of adoption, where crypto is basically in making the way into futures. So that's a green plus. Let's see here. Something that I've seen, I think it was today or the other day. Oh, MetaMask now supports Tron, Bitcoin, Solana, expanding from Ethereum core. So if you guys haven't really been part of the um crypto community, or haven't been really been up to date as far as like wallets, MetaMask has been a absolute OG. They've been primarily been used as far as like the Ethereum network and like some other ones like Optimism, um, and some other networks. But for the most part, them expanding to Solana, that was kind of really quite recent. Bitcoin was very recent as well. So them expanding to a whole brand new network, that's basically just more more money for MetaMask because of all the fees. But that is a green light as far as accepting and just creating basically making MetaMask a more, what's the word? Basically providing more options for the users to just expand onto MetaMask, because I know there's been other wallets like Trust Wallet that of course have all the networks. What's another one? Exodus has a good majority of it, but is kind of limited in a way as far as we can use. What some other ones? There's MetaMask, uh, Exodus. I mean, there's like your ledgers. What are some other ones that I can think of right now? MetaMask. Let's see here. First wallet base. There's like the Coinbase wallet that you can use. I think that's basically it as far as decentralized wallets in a way that you guys can use. But the more networks, the better. Um, So next thing that's, oh, before I hop on, I would definitely want to tap into the chat. Make sure you guys are there. Let me see here. Where are you guys at? Okay, am I still playing? Give me 1 second, guys. Cool. Can you guys hear me? Where are you guys at? All right, just make sure because my screen wasn't on the YouTube. So, um, basically, what I'm kind of just really just looking at right now, what are some previous ones that I was looking into? Coinbase pulls supports. So I did see how Coinbase didn't like the proposal, the crypto bill. I know I haven't gotten into in detail what the CEO said, but they kind of just saw it, didn't like it, posed tension over the stablecoin yield restrictions. So you can of course read more about it. I personally love to read more as far as what's happening with all the news regarding stablecoins, regulations. Those are like the main things that are just the big talk as far as adoption. So definitely get yourself well informed inside of space when it comes to these kind of news. Just kind of stay more up to date. And yes, there's always, there's always going to be news regarding like frauds, cash scams. That's basically in any finance sector. So that's not new. If you guys are brand new and just seeing these kind of headlines, this is something that's always happening in the finance sector. So yeah, that's kind of these people that kind of do these kind of stuff always get. I mean, they basically give crypto a bad rep. So yeah. Next thing, I think, what were some other things I've seen pop up? I've been seeing a lot of predictions, like on these other institutions of like certain cryptos going to this price. I've been seeing a lot of that go around. So definitely, um, there's some that are a bit more out of range as far as this run. I mean, I could be wrong, but there's some that are I've been seeing that just all right, cool. Like there's definitely some of them need to be more realistic. So that's something that I'm seeing more and more. But as far as the overall emotional cycle inside the space, we haven't really even seen mass euphoria just yet. Even though we've seen it in like a couple sectors like meme coins, we definitely seen a big old pop in meme coins um, sometime beginning of last year. So uh, that is definitely coming his way when it comes to like the majors and like the mid cap coins. So that's uh, pretty exciting to see. I'll definitely will be looking at the chats here. Beginning of last year. Cool. Any questions you guys have, definitely let me know inside the chat box on YouTube. Just so I can like you guys basically give you guys more up to date information. I'm kind of looking at everything on my phone. Just kind of just so I don't really have to look at each tab. So when I'm looking at for BTC, the analysis that we're looking at last session on Tuesday, this is something I was really looking into as far as this entire weekly inefficient zone, and we did come in trade inside of here, and we're getting that nice little rejection for the most part. So if we do continue on getting a pullback in here on smart time frames, if we continue on pulling back, this overall looks pretty strong. If I'm being absolutely honest, this looks pretty strong. Maybe we'll probably see um another push higher. If I'm being honest, I don't really see this stopping anytime soon. Maybe just as of now, just think of it as like this. Bitcoin just catching his breath and just filling in the rest of the imbalance before we actually continue going higher. The next area that I can probably see it just catch on to and continue going higher is this inefficient zone. That's probably like the best probable scenario of what this can possibly happen for PTC. Just basically do a continuation and just to clear this high here. And then afterwards, that's probably just more so speculation. Maybe we'll probably even trade back into this area here because it was like the previous resistance supports, previous institutional buy before I actually sold off. So this is kind of like an area which I will be looking into to see if we get any kind of distribution, probably get some pullbacks Um, but yeah, like we'll see what happens this first quarter of the year since we haven't really seen much. Yes, we're seeing some more movements to the other side, but as far as like alts, it's kind of just it's almost there. It's almost there. It's definitely gearing up for the most parts. For example, let's say I look at like the major altcoins with the most use case, the most adoption, like Chainlink, for example, is still ranging inside the zone here. It's still accumulating. It's still in here, which we haven't really fully broken out yet. AVAX, nothing too exciting happening. Let's say, for example, the silver of crypto. Right. This is something that I was looking into, to be honest. Oops. Cool. Hmm. I really want to catch a Lightning play, but if we don't see it, I'm gonna just wait. To be honest, because if I'm looking at total three, hi Gil, I see you inside the chat. Hope you're having a blessed day. Um, let's see here. But I'm looking at total three with just all of alts. It still shows that it wants to pull back. Whether we decided that this was today, Thursday, probably doing next week, to be honest, just because there's not really going to be much happening tomorrow. And especially since it's running onto the weekend, volume just dies off. Usually you probably see some, really good plays either Sunday night going on to a Monday morning or just Monday overall, these are kind of like you see a lot of more spikes, a lot more volatile moves. Maybe you can catch easy between a 500 pips to 1,000 pip moves, depending on the setup or scenario, or with just the overall alignment that this structure just gives you. So, I'm definitely gonna be waiting for some more cleaner setups. I mean, personally, I don't really look at continuations unless it's a 4 or 5 star setup, then I'll take it. But if it's just like a small little analysis like this, then I'd rather wait for a 4 or 5 star analysis where like you can definitely see the setup, clear as day. And for one that's here just brand new or just really trying to understand like, all right, cool, what's a 4 or 5 star setup? Which one is really more clear as day. If you guys trade small money concepts, you definitely will understand whenever you see like a clear liquidity, you see an institutional candle imbalance, you enter off the institutional candle, put your entries, your stop loss, having a tight risk, and just seeing it, play out every single time. It can definitely happen on any time frame, whether it's on the 2 hour, the 3 hour, the 45. It really all depends on the setup. And let me see here. If we weren't really, creating a lot of liquidity, like if this probably would have been a great setup as well. You would have seen y'all this delete. So you guys can see how we're creating liquidity here. All right. Market swept, clear that, clear the liquidity up here. Market dipped down, took it down first. Afterwards, imbalance created. Then this entire is going to come here. You see how it wicked into the area. This would have been a um, easy setup, which you could have just target the highs. I mean, even though this is on the 15 minute, this is more so like a intraday setup. This is something that you would have to be really like looking at the screen at that time and that moment to catch this setup here. That is a easy 104 setup on a 15-minute time frame. This is like my ideal kind of setup. ideal setup that I always look at every single time and execute it whenever I do see it pop up on my screen or pop up on the charts. If you guys are wondering what kind of a checklist, if you guys are brand new or even just new to the screen, new to the stream, my bad. Then I highly suggest you kind of just have this set up somewhere, or even if you, of course, use this as a reference for the future. Cool. I mean, I personally don't really have this on my screen all the time just because, this is something that I've seen basically for a while now, and it's kind of more so secondhand nature. But if you guys are brand new, just really tapping into smart money concepts, or even just any strategy that you are learning right now, definitely have a confirmation checklist that you guys follow. Think of this as um your commandments. I guess you can say your your rules that you will not break away. Right. This and that you look at every single time, and if it lines up with your analysis, then take it. Also, another key thing is you have to let's say let me rewind real quick. Let's say you're somebody that has been struggling with uh being consistent. If you're struggling with being confident in your setups primarily, right? Let's say you're not so confident on taking the setup, you're not so confident on executing, or let's say you do see a setup, you're like, oh shoot, like I wish I should have taken it. Then maybe even take some time off the screen, detach yourself from the outcome, and just use a demo count. Use a demo count. I definitely use a demo count for the longest until I seen the actual candlestick print out um, on these setups, where I'm trading on the 5, the 15, the 30 minutes, and watch each and every single candle print out on that time frame I'm trading on for months. I did it for an entire year. And if you see the same setup over and over again, then when you see the next setup, you've already seen it, a million times already. Why would this be any different from the other ones that you were learning about? So, basically for BTC, looking for some kind of continuation as of now, unless we get whatever Trump decides to tweet on social media or say something, or let's say there's like a tariff news that just pops up. Oh, hey, there's a tariff on China or whatever the case may be. We definitely seen how that can definitely make a huge impact in the market when it comes to like sell bearishness. Is that if that were the case, then you can definitely probably see some liquidity get taken out. How aggressive? I don't know. It just depends on the news that just pops up, um, or whether it's what's another good example? Maybe the interest rates. Whether we do get one interest rate cuts. Look at poly market. So poly market is where you can see that's basically for September. Will there be any interest rates cuts in January or February? Probably just January, but we'll see. So next one will be on January 28th. So there's a no change. So there's a no change in interest rates. What happened last time? I think it was in not December. I think it was November, I believe, or before that, or September, the last one that we had. Um, there was no change. Market what sold off. Sure, it sold off maybe like a week later, give or take. If you really like look back onto like every no change, interest rates, usually there's always some kind of correction. All right, and whenever you guys do see so that's something that you can use this in the future. There's a 95% chance. Let's see what's happening in March. No chance, no change. 76%, 25, 22. Let's see April 24. No change, no change at 72. And I think that it can't really go on from there. But now you know the stats as far as what's happening January 8th. So just something just to be patient about and see what happens from now until then, as far as like what happens or what changes, where there's like regulations. But it's always good to use useful information towards what's going to happen in the market in the future, whether you're looking at for buys or sells, or even like the potential swing plays, whether it's on perpetuals, leverage, or investing as well. But yeah, I mean, uh, we'll definitely see if we see any kind of change of character or market shift for BTC. Uh, next thing, next thing is Ethereum. Looks like we're actually, rejecting out of our 45-minute candle that I showed you guys last session. Now, this is something that I didn't execute just because we're seeing it tap this area once, twice, three times. I typically, just stay away from these kind of uh rejections whenever it's rejecting more than once in my area, just because as it starts rejecting more than once, the weaker it gets. The weaker it gets, so I'm definitely gonna be staying away from that. Uh, let me see. So if you guys are brand new into these calls, I do a lot of the live analysis, more on the technical side. So if you're a bit more lost, definitely ask your questions on the chats. But I definitely will go over investing here shortly. Just kind of go through the leverage plays or the perpetual plays that we may see in the future. So, or even what to expect in the market with if you guys like to swing trade cryptos. So as of now, like we're still creating some imbalances, still these areas need to get filled in, and if we do come back all the way down to 30, 50, I wouldn't mind, just because it's been leaving behind a lot of these areas, but just because there's a lot of influx of volume pushing the market up, and which causing just leaving all these zones behind. Um, I mean, that's completely normal because volume really negates a lot of technical analysis. So you really have to really see like um, there's not really much you can do at that point. If the market just runs away from your setup, then that's fine. You look for the next one. It may take, a couple of days from now, or even tomorrow, or even next week. That's just part of the game. Whether you're trading on like if you're a intraday trader, then yeah, you're probably gonna have to wait for a couple more days, or even next week, depending on the setup that you are aligning to take, whether it's on a Wednesday or Thursday. And if there's like nothing really going on Friday, then you have to wait for next week because on weekends it just dies off. That is kind of something that I've been seeing a little bit more and more with crypto. I mean, we've been seeing that for a little over a year now, almost a year and a half. So Solana. So basically with Solana, I am definitely still bullish on Solana on the overall higher time frames. Is actually one of the strongest charts out of everything. If I'm being completely honest, like it already accumulated nicely out of here. This is actually a really, really good example of an accumulation schematic that we're waiting on for a while, and I actually finally did it. Can we see any pullbacks? I think so. I think we do see some pullbacks happening with Solana. I mean, we're kind of like slowly getting like an hour. This high, this low gets taken out. What's good, Carlos? How you doing? I know you're killing on perpetuals. Probably like the next low, that I probably will be looking to see if we do, get this taken out. That's another low. If you come in and chase these lows, that's a possibility. But this is kind of just the different lows I'm kind of just eyeing for the future. Weekly, look at the weekly. But I would like to get a pullback. I mean, we see this. We see this entire inefficient candle that has been filled in. That's volume. Nope. So cool. Not really much to be honest. I mean, yes, we're currently trading inside, or we rejected in here. So there's not really much going on, to be honest. I haven't really been seeing anything that's worth calling it out. I think I called out H parts because it looked like a really good setup. But other than that, that's about it, to be honest. As far as like alts, H bar, nothing really much changed since last session. I've been looking at H bar as far as some buys. Here's that. Chainlink, AVAX, Dog. I know Dog has some pretty nice moves to the upside. Since there was talks about, I mean, it did get, I want to say got listed on Coinbase. It appeared on the Coinbase Dex platform. It's not really like a full listing. It's more on the decentralized part. So that's really where a lot of the volume just came in, and I definitely seen the whole dog community really went crazy when they first saw that. So that really would cause the initial spike. So we'll see with dog. I know you guys are brand new and like you're just wondering like what is dog? It's just a meme coin that's under the Bitcoin ecosystem, and that may be the first time you guys are hearing that. What, like, there's a meme coin or a coin that's under the Bitcoin ecosystem, and like yes, there is, and dog is one of them. There's runes, right? There's or Daniels, you know, there's a particular network. I think it's called BRC20, the overall Bitcoin network, Bitcoin ecosystem, with those two categories. So dog is definitely one of them, and is I've talked about this on like Zoom calls before with you guys, and I'm very very excited to see what happens with this coin here. So next thing, ICP. We did see some pretty nice movements with ICP today. I believe it was today or yesterday. Um, can we see it close above $5, if not even push higher, all the way up to $8.20, give or take? That is definitely would be my target. If we were to catch, any kind of perpetual plays, that will be the my first target. But as far as like pullbacks, then I will look for anything in here as far as pullbacks. 3 hour, two. Yeah, I definitely want to pull backs in here for ICP. for leverage. But it really just all depends on like how aggressive we get that push down. Yeah, it really just all depends on how aggressive we get that push down. So I wouldn't really, uh, yeah, I wouldn't really, just wait and I honestly wouldn't really have a limiter here. I would just wait and see what happens if we do get any aggressive selling that candles, aggressive selling candles on the mains because I know you guys seen in the past, how aggressive these selling candles can get, and it can definitely, um, negate all of our areas and just blow past it just because of how deep of retracements odds can do when BTC really just just tank. So Filecoin did definitely seen some movements, some crazy wicks. Go back onto daily. Like I said in the past, if we see these kind of movements once, well, you can definitely see it again for Filecoin. Don't underestimate this pump here. If we see it once, clear all the liquidity, we can see it again. All right. Because there's still a lot of areas, especially, taking all this out here. It trading above $12 and 30 cents. That will be a pretty nice move if Filecoin does that. So those are like the definitely my holdings are Chainlink, Dog, ICP, Jupiter, Filecoin. What else? Jupiter. I think those are like the main ones that I have, and I have a couple other degenerate plays. But yeah, as far as NFTs, I'm still in the same ones. I haven't really been tapping into Solana just yet. I know that Carlos, one of the guys, has the actual handheld device, the Solana device, for that. So that's kind of like the only NFTs that I'm currently holding at the moment. Anything else, I've already kind of just sold all of them. As far as Web3, NFTs, domains, all that kind of good stuff. Um, we'll definitely will see if they do even have a comeback. I haven't really heard anything regarding to like NFTs in a while. But maybe this times of market being boring, this is probably when they're kind of still in that developing, um, developing as far as like the overall project itself. But yeah, definitely just that's probably the only entities I have as far as other assets. Let's see here, Litecoin, Pyth. Yeah, honestly, I haven't really seen anything going on with like Pyth and a lot of those different tokens. It's really just been like quiet. I know there's been a couple of news regarding like crypto, but it's been pretty quiet for the most part. Yes, we did see like a couple of days ago, I think, where some of the coins were like 50%, 15%, 10, small little movements here and there, but nothing too crazy. XRP, same setup. Like for pullbacks. So a lot of them just really just aligning with the overall bias. If we're to get a, since we're actually putting back in the dominance for BTC, if this decides to just push higher, then you definitely will see Bitcoin drop for the most part. You definitely will see alts drop for if that would be the case. But yeah, that's something I'm really just eyeing at the moment. ETH dominance. Still hasn't really moved to be honest. It's crazy how like I mean, it's not crazy, but it's really more so like how crypto's moving. It's expected. How some of these times where it's really really boring, and then next you know, the next day maybe tomorrow is more on a hypothetical scenario where things just start flying. Like one day. completely boring, nothing's happening. Then tomorrow, there's a crypto that does over 100%, almost like basically like it does 100% 2x return, and just like that. So on USDT dominance, we're currently actually trading in this little small area here. Could this be where it actually just reverses and pushes way higher? Daily. Hmm. Honestly, I would honestly would want to see more data before even making that scenario. SPX, gold, money supply. I think that's basically pretty much it on everything. If you guys have any questions, definitely let me know inside the chat box. Um, Regarding like any portfolio ideas or any investment ideas you guys are looking into, any cryptos that you guys are hearing about. It's always good, kind of just gonna get some insight. What you guys have been exposed to when it comes to social media or like people online, because usually when you start seeing a lot of people talk about certain crypto, whether it's a meme coin, that could definitely be a red flag, because when people start talking about a crypto, that is usually the top of that crypto. So when you guys don't really hear much of anything, then that's usually when that's like the boring times where it's like just not really doing much, which is also at a really huge discount. Explore. What do you think about Alve? Yes, so I'm glad you brought that up. So when it comes to Aave, is a huge DeFi project that I am definitely gonna be participating in their savings account that they plan on doing. Because you can, it's between 5% to 9% APY. All right, yeah. So you go on to Aave, the website. It's like 5%, 5 to 9% on the savings. And there's not really most banks earn up to 9% on savings. This and that is really where uh, I will be even participating in, because I haven't really heard of any institutions. You see all the partners here: JP Morgan, Coinbase, even JP Morgan is still a huge name. All right, definitely will be using this. I like the project. As far as the overall chart itself, this is chart on that. It was like I haven't looked at this chart in a long ass time. Weekly, monthly. Okay, so what I'm eyeing right now is we have all the liquidity here. What are some possible areas that it can probably even come back into? Maybe in here, this imbalance that hasn't been filled in. That's definitely a stretch. Yeah, that's if we do get a sell off and market just has to just tank. Or different scenario. Let's say this is kind of like where we actually see like the it accumulate out of here. Probably see this. See that. As far as target wise, for sure this definitely will see this get taken out. I'm looking at the monthly, weekly. Did it come back into that candle? No, not yet, actually. This is gonna be like a TP for Ave. I'm kind of curious, what's the current market cap for Ave? Think it's probably like somewhere like at a billion, I think, give or take. So let's see where we at. Always at 2.5 billion market cap, 2.5 billion market cap for Alve. I mean, as far as investing wise, I do love the tokenomics. I do like the overall total supply of it. Yeah, we're sitting at what, 16 million supply, max supply 16 million. The highest market cap that Alve has ever gone to. Let me see here. It touched what, 8 billion market cap? Let's say 8 billion. Can we see all-time highs? Yes. Can we see a double in market cap? It just depends on the institutions. It really depends on how much money, how much adoption um it gets. Let me see. Let's say on a perfect scenario, right? If all the money, right, were to make its way into Aave, everything aligns with it. We can definitely see a possibility of even though it's quite a bit of a stretch, but anything can happen in crypto. Anything can happen in crypto when it comes to the right timing and the right application, the right use case of a project. So that's kind of like the areas I'm looking at. Maybe your first, second, third TP. Definitely. As far as an investing portfolio perspective, always uh take profit along the way. Always take profit along the way. Uh, dismiss. Cool. So hopefully that answers your question. As far as Alve, I do like the project. If we even get like DeFi to make a comeback, I do have the charts of DeFi saved somewhere in here. Where are we at? I think I had it. I think it's this one here. There we go. Yeah. If we still continue on holding this zone here, or just continue on holding inside of here overall, then yes, we'll probably see it climb out of the zone. But it's I just don't like all this liquidity, to be honest. I just don't like it. I see that, and it's just telling me that all right, cool. It's just a matter of time before we just sell off somewhere and just dip. So as far as DeFi, I'll definitely would wait on it. But I do love Aave. I do like Aave. I haven't really seen any other DeFi coins, but I do like Aave though. Next thing, yeah, I mean that's basically about it. I know when it comes to the getting to that 9%, you can It starts everybody off as 5%. You verify yourself with your ID. That helps you get into a 6% APY. Then afterwards it's just basically just referrals. Yeah. To get to 9% is like 25. I mean, just creating the accounts, I believe, or I haven't seen the actual um fine print as far as like how to be even eligible for that 9% on that savings. But I think afterwards it should be just referrals at that point. If you have the app, you can of course sign up for early access on it, and you can see for yourself. But yeah, hopefully everything kind of made more sense for everyone that's here on the call regarding like the charts, investing, what's happening right now. And yes, there's always gonna be boring days inside the markets. That is non-negotiable. That's something that is um will always happen. But whenever we start to have volume get pushed into the market, then yeah, we definitely see we're definitely gonna see a lot more active activity inside the chats, the charts, a lot more call outs. But as of now, like this is really where investing really comes into place, and just stacking up on your favorite assets, and even potentially maybe catch some perpetual buys. But as of now, a lot of the setups, a lot of the good setups I've been seeing just eyeing the charts, whether I'm on the charts itself or I'm not. I always look back into it and seeing were some possible opportunities. Maybe I've been seeing some maybe like only a few good setups every week at most, just from all the movements and everything just been presenting itself on some of the charts. But as of now, it's just been pretty slow, kind of like more like any other day in crypto. But we're just waiting for that huge volume of money just pushing to the mains, and that would definitely will do a flow effect down into the alts, and that's when we'll start seeing alt season. But for the most part, that is it on my end. Hope you guys enjoyed tonight's session. I definitely will see you guys on the next one, and make sure you guys grab your tickets to the Wolf Conference, Blueprint Conference here in Dallas next month on the 7th, I believe. Definitely is on our website. Grab your tickets. There it is a limited supply, and I can't wait to see you guys in person and for you guys to see your favorite educators, right? Your favorite educators in person. If you guys even just brand new overall, then you definitely make sure you guys bring a notebook, because that entire day you will be learning basically from people that has really seen the results, but that I've learned from for a very very long time. I've been knowing for a very long time, and you never know that you may be one of course a clicking moment away from your breakthrough. But for the most part, that's it on my end. Hope you guys have a blessed and wonderful night, and I'll see you guys next time. Let's get it.